Welcome back to Thankful November. This is for the month of November. I'm doing 3 to 5 minute segments of people, places, and things that I'm thankful for this year. This is in order to get me ready to start recording my podcast, Knowledge Gumbo. So I'm getting my reps in. Today, for Thankful November, the person that I'm thankful for, she's been gone a long time, but her impression on my life is so strong that in times I hear her voice in my ear, I see her face, I reminisce on all the times we spent together. Her name is Maddie Stone, and I used to call her Nana. She wasn't, blood grandmother. I didn't even know Nana stood for uh, grandmother until I was an adult. I don't know where the name came from. I don't even remember how I started calling her Nana. But she took care of me when I was young, before I went to preschool. Between her and another family friend, Lucy Jackson, they live next door to each other. And but Maddie Stone was a force of nature. Okay, a force of God wrapped up in a very tall black woman. um, it is because of her that I have a deep love for God. It's because of her that I know you can live out your life and be healthy, happy, being a contributor to the people and things around you. Like I said, she was just a force of nature. And it happens to me whenever I lose someone, like I lost my mom this year. It's just, I reflect on the people in my life that have impacted me the most. And I want to honor them in a way, not only with how I live my life, but just talking about them and making sure that their memory stays alive. Um, like I said, I stayed. Nana kept me when I was little before I started going to preschool, so I was with her every day doing adult things. Like I was the only 2 year old going to missionary meetings. She used to walk the neighborhood and visit the sick and shut in, or just people who didn't get around well. And we would talk to them, we would bring them stuff. She showed me God wrapped up in skin that just happened to be black, embodied in a female. um, I miss Nana a lot. It was funny because as an adult, when I found out that Nana meant grandma to some people, I kind of looked up what Nana meant. And you know, all it says is a reference to a father or a mother's mother. So I looked at the origin of the word, and it says that it doesn't have etymology. It came probably from some form of baby talk. And the word started showing up in literature, and, being recognized way back in 1899, which I find totally incredible. But when I grew up and growing up, I wanted to be like her. And a lot of the time she came back to memory too is I, when preparing and going to the Acts 242 conference, it was the boldness in which people spoke. And that's how she spoke about God. That's how she spoke about life. She confronted things head on. She was not shy about anything. There was not a shy bone in her body out. Because one memory that's very, very, very ingrained in me is she got on our pastor for embarrassing his son in front of his peers. She said it's not that he shouldn't have been punished, but there's a right and a wrong way to do everything. And so he was highly offended, and he talked about her in the Sunday sermon. without, saying her name, but it was about her. And so Nana was undaunted. She stood up in the middle of his sermon and said, "He is talking about me, and I don't care. He was wrong, and no matter how he tries to spin it, it's never going to be right. Truth is truth, and I'm standing on truth." And then she sat back down. And I was totally amazed. And she said, "Truth will win out over power and position every time because truth never changes." So, like I said, I've been reflecting a lot over the women in my life who watched over me, who I went to for advice, who, spoke when they saw me going sideways. And it's just the last couple of years that, Mount Rushmore of wisdom that I relied on, they're all gone now, including my friend Gwen Osborne, um, Annie Denny, a friend of my friend's mother. She was the life of any event. She had a smile that lit up every room. And so these women showed me how to live. So I am very appreciative for Mattie Stone, especially because she was there in my formative years, and those memories and those habits and things that I do are deeply ingrained in me because of her. Uh, so, hey, Yolanda, what are you asking me today? What advice would you give to someone who is struggling with the loss of a loved one? Um, I think I don't, I'm not quite sure how to answer that in the sense that I think you need to do for people while they're alive so that when they pass, you're sad that they're no longer physically here, but you know that you spent the time with them, that you loved on them, that you did everything that you could. You honored them while they were here. Because to me, the only moments of sadness is like when you go to think about that person, like you're going to go to call them or talk to them, and then you realize, yeah, they're no longer physically here. But as far as getting over a loss, I just try to remember the person and how they lived. I keep them alive by keeping their memory alive in the sense that I remember the lessons they taught me. I honor those lessons. I try to be a person that they will totally be proud of. And like I said, you spend enough time with people, you love on people, they love on you, they're in you. You will hear their voices, you will hear their advice, that will whisper at you or that will yell at you, um, and put you in the right direction. But for me, um, I try not to get lost in grief, because my goal is to always do right by the person while they're here to see it, feel it, and accept it. And I think the thing that turned that for me was when my grandfather died when I was a teenager. Also, not my blood grandfather, but he was my grandfather and everything else but blood. Um, he died. I didn't even know he had a son. His son never came to visit. He never brought his children to visit him. Nothing. Okay, so I think I'm maybe 15, 16 years old. So in all of those years, he never talked about him. I never saw any mail. He never sent any pictures or anything about his father. But we're having a funeral, and it's a solemn moment, of course, in the church. And this son proceeds to come down the aisle just wailing, "Oh, my dad. Oh, my daddy. Oh, my daddy." And I was just like, really? And I realized at that point that the people that fall apart, I mean, unless, of course, it's a spouse and you spent your life with that person, but even still, if you do right by people while they're alive, if you love on them, spend time with them, like I said before yesterday with my laid off video, I appreciate the time that I had to spend with my mom because I had to learn time to learn more about her and have her learn more about me as an adult as opposed to as just her child. And it's time, you can't get it back. Time is finite. So make the time to spend with the people who mean the most to you so that when you lose them, you're only sad because they're no longer physically here for you to interact with them, but they knew how much you loved them. They knew how much you respected them. You know how many laughs and tears and everything that you shared together. And that should give you comfort. Um, so, I mean, I'm not an expert, like I said, so I try not to live with regret or anything like that. Like, I do the best that I can in the time that I have with the people in my life. So, that's a little long winded, but that's just how I feel about it. I feel like you should truly be sad, but it shouldn't overwhelm you because you know that person knew how much you love them. So that's just my perspective. I don't know, you know, again, like I've never been married, so I haven't had a spouse, so I don't know if that applies to the spouse as well. I would think so because as I watched my father care for my mother and love on her, he knew he did everything he could do. There's no reason to fall apart. There's no reason to fall into depression other than the fact that he's been married his whole adult life and he's trying to adjust to not having a spouse, having someone to take care of, and having someone who takes care of him. So, but I think to me, just love on the people that mean the most to you. Make sure they know. Do what you can for them. Spend time with them. Make the time. You know, you say, I can't find time. We don't find time. We make time. It's a choice. So make the choice to love on people. So again, this is Thankful November. I'm thankful today for my Nana, Mattie Stone, great woman of God, just great all around person. And when I say woman of God, don't think, holier than thou or anything like that. She got down with the best of us. She used to take me on trips to Simpson's record store. We buy 45s, come back, put it on the player, and dance around the house. Uh, Certain songs will trigger memories for me, like Smiling Faces. I remember she bought that 45 after interaction with someone in church who, for some reason, felt like everybody was stupid and couldn't tell she was lying. So that was like just an awesome memory for me. But like I said, I'm thankful for having her in my life. She was amazing, and I'm inspired to get in the game and up my game so that I can be like her for other people because she spread love and light wherever she went. And even when she was telling you about yourself, she did it in a way that was loving, that wasn't critical, that wasn't tearing you down. It was a slight stripping to build you back up. So, again, thankful November. I'm thankful for Mattie Stone, incredible woman of God. I'm doing these 3 to 5 minute talks to get ready to launch my podcast, Knowledge Gumbo. We'll be sharing quotes and proverbs, excerpts from books, things like that. But everything is filtered through the lens of Black women, their experiences, their lives, and in their voices. So I'm working on a landing page so you can sign up for a wait list. But if you want some more interesting tidbits and facts on Black women and Black history, you can sign up for my Gumbo newsletter. On the end screen, you'll see a QR code. Scan it, sign up. We'd love for you to join the Gumbo Squad. Have a great day. But remember, based on today, take the time out for someone who's still here. Call them. Tell them you don't want anything. You just wanted to let them know that you love them. God bless.